Hey guys, what's up? Lever here. I'm coming back with another video. I'm gonna start making more of these, I guess. I had a request a while back. Somebody wanted me to talk about my stint in the psych ward when I ended up in the mental hospital or psych hospital. I did I think it was 3.5 weeks in there, which is a hell of a long time. Um, I'll start off with my first day. I had two stays. Okay, my first day is the most interesting and most craziest one. My first day was I was using speed pills or whatever, um, not sleeping. I'd been up for like I think 6 days or something. I hadn't slept for 6 days, and I lost it. Like when you've been up for that long, you know what I mean? You just lose it. So, anyways, I was up and I had like I was picking at my face and everything because I was freaking out because I thought I had bugs coming out of my face and all this shit. That's the reason why you should never use that type of drug. By the way, it's extremely dangerous, extremely destructive drug, and I don't recommend that anybody ever take it. But anyways, I was freaking out, so I didn't even put on my shoes. By the way, I walked down to the hospital about it was about a 25-minute walk in my sock feet. By the way, at 1:30 in the morning, freaking out, um, dehydrated, delirious, agitated. It was so bad, in fact, that when I was looking at the moon was wobbling back and forth on its axis. So when I was looking at the moon, instead of it just being still, it was going like this. So I was in full on hallucination mode. So I go down to the hospital. I walk in my sock feet, whatever, and obviously I wasn't in my right mind, right? So I walk in, and instead of just waiting to my turn and stuff, I started freaking out, and I was laying down in one of the seats or whatever, and I'm freaking out or whatever. So one of the nurses, just instead of actually um, taking me into the room to register me, they just put me in a wheelchair and they brought me straight up to the psych ward. So they bring me up, and I'm agitated as hell, right? I'm freaking out. They bring me into a room, and there's like three security guards, blocking the room and shit. And I'm freaking out. I'm just like, fuck you to the doctor, you bald bitch, fuck you. And I'm just yelling, I'm screaming. I'm not hitting the nurses, I'm not fighting, like physically fighting or whatever, but I'm freaking the fuck out. Okay, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm freaking out about 9/11 being an inside job. I'm just freaking about them, drugging, using nanoparticles, nanodust on me, surveilling me, and I'm freaking out, okay? Because I wasn't in my right mind. So I'm losing it. And the doctor says, "You're not going anywhere." And I go, "Fuck you, you bald bitch, blah, 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 blah." And I'm fucking yelling at him. So he tells one of the nurses to bring me a sheet of paper, and the sheet of paper says that they're putting me on a psych hold for, I think it's a 48-hour involuntary psych hold. So I said, "This is what I think of your fucking psych hold." So I rip up the paper into pieces and I shoot like the paper up in the air or whatever, and all the, paper goes everywhere. So they blocked the door, like they had two security guards blocking the door, and one security guard was standing there snapping his gloves like this, I guess to try and intimidate me or whatever. So one of the nurses comes up with a big long needle, like the needle must have been like this or whatever, and she hits me. I said, "Okay, hit me." Like I didn't fight, no nothing, so she hit me. And then at the moment she hit me, she whispers in my ear and she says, "Now you're gonna go to sleep." And I'm like, "Fuck you," whatever, and I'm rolling around in the bed or whatever, fighting it. I fought it. I think it was at least 10-15 minutes I fought it for before it finally knocked me out. All I remember is when she hit me with it, I laid down face first, and every muscle in my body and all the tension, like all the 6 days worth of anxiety and tension, just eased. It was like a ton of bricks had been lifted off my shoulders. So I rolled around for a little while yelling, apparently, and then I just passed out. Yeah, and then I woke up I think it was the next, I slept for 2 days, I think they said. I didn't wake up that night. I slept till the entire next night. I know, because I got released like shortly after I woke up, and he was a 48 hours. So I slept for like 2 days. Like over 2 days. It was like 2.5 days or something. I slept with my body was still fucked. Like, can you imagine you've been up for so long, you sleep for over 2 days without like waking up? Yeah, so that's the first stint. And they let me out. Like, I managed to get out. I just told them that, like, because I did have, like, pigeons caught, like, laying nests and shit on and I did for a bit, like, it wasn't all in my head. I did for a bit have some bird mites that got in my unit and were biting me because I'm the only warm-blooded thing that there was no birds, right? So for a couple days there I was getting bit, and I know this was 100% true because somebody I know who came in got bit too, because they even admitted it and told me. So yeah, so anyways, so they believed my story because it was true about the bird mites, and they released me. And then I was out and I continued to use meth pills. I continued to be self-destructive. I continued to use drugs and continued doing the exact same things I was doing when I walked down there. And then a family member, I'm not going to say exactly who it was, but they basically, because I was sleeping outside and shit, and I wasn't in my right mind. Like, I fully understand why they did it, and it's a good thing they did it, because I probably would be dead right now. But yeah, they called the police, and the police came and they took me. They didn't like arrest me, obviously, or anything like that, but they put cuffs on me. They took me in, and yeah, I went into the hospital, and I was in a room, and I was in there for over 3 weeks before they finally let me out. And they diagnosed me with bipolar with mania or whatever, and a bunch, because I had been misdiagnosed like for a long time. It's just anxiety disorder. I have that too, or whatever. But the problem is especially when I smoke weed, that's the reason why I can't smoke weed anymore, is when I smoke weed, it brings out like the mania bipolar thing. Like, if I take my medication, I don't do drugs, I can manage. Like with the medication, obviously I need the medication. If I don't take it, I'll get sick or whatever. But yeah, so I was in there for 3 weeks. I got out, and after getting out, I used for a little bit. Like I continued to use for a couple weeks, and then I just stopped. I didn't go to rehab, no nothing. I just told myself I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, because I'd been in the hospital for 3 weeks, and I obviously hadn't used any drugs, and I detoxed, whatever, and they got me stable on a new medication or whatever. But yeah, so thanks to the family member who did that, because like I said, I would likely be dead right now. I wouldn't be alive, because eventually my body would have given up. You can't abuse your body like that and stay up for that long. Like, they didn't even understand how I was still standing, how I was still functioning, being up that long. Like, you gotta understand, they say you can go into hallucinations after 2-3 days. I was up for almost 6 days. Okay, I was so fucked up that I was actually micro sleeping while I was standing and walking and shit. That's how fucked up I was. Because when you're doing that shit, I just started with just using it recreationally every once in a while, and then it became, well, I needed it to do my work because I was tired from the night before, and then it turns into you'd go home, you do some more, then you have to go to work and you don't want to go to bed, and then you take more, and then it's a vicious cycle. And then as you're doing this too, it's damaging your brain. Like, it's damaging your dopamine and the way your brain like perceives pleasure and shit. So yeah, it's the first, I think it was year after getting off, I was a mess. Like, I couldn't process any pleasure whatsoever. I had absolutely no pleasure. I had no way to feel anything. Like, I was just dead, numb, just like psychologically dead. But yeah, so that's the story of the psych ward incident. I thought I would make it because somebody had asked me to do it a while back, and I just wasn't making videos or whatever. But yeah, clean and sober now. No weed. I quit vaping. And honestly, like, I don't miss it. Yeah, I think the last drug I did was some Percocets, which, like, I'm not condoning doing any kind of taking any kind of painkillers that aren't prescribed to you, but I think, yeah, that's the last thing I did, which I can handle. Like, if I just take, like, grab like 2 or 3 Percocets and do those within a couple days, like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, but I don't do it, you know what I mean? I don't do it on a regular basis. It's not a regular thing. That was quite a while ago, but yeah. But anyways, okay. I hope you guys liked the video and subscribe. Let me know if there's more things you would like me to talk about. All right? Peace.